Good afternoon all. Today we are going to discuss about next group of disinfectants, that is halogens. Actually these halogens are mainly fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine that we have already studied, and they are among them this chlorine and iodine are commonly used disinfectants which have bactericidal, sporicidal as well as virucidal action. And among the halogens, again, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine occurrence, seawater and salt state, ionic and non-ionic exert antimicrobial activity in non-ionic state. They are highly effective components of disinfectants and antiseptics because they have microbicidal action, that is killing, not microbistatic. Chlorine and iodine are two routinely used disinfectants. So first of all about iodine and iodophores. Although these iodine compounds, they are less reactive than chlorine, but iodine is rapidly bactericidal, fungicidal, tuberculocidal, virucidal and sporicidal. And how the iodine works? It works by oxidizing cellular components including sulfur-containing amino acids, nucleotides, and fatty acids for destabilizing the macromolecules that contain these molecules. And also it is often used as a topical tincture, but it may cause staining or skin irritation. Although aqueous or alcoholic solutions of iodine, these have been used for 150 years as antiseptics, since they are associated with irritation and excessive staining. So, then in addition, the aqueous solutions are generally unstable. Aqueous solutions are unstable. In solutions, at least 7 iodine species are present in a complex equilibrium with molecular iodine. It is primarily responsible, that is I2. It is primarily responsible for antimicrobial efficacy. Molecular iodine I2. So, because of these problems of excessive staining, irritation, these problems may be overcome by the development of iodophores. So, what is iodophores? Iodine carriers or iodine releasing agents. The most widely used are povidone iodine and polaxamer iodine in both antiseptics and disinfectants. So, an iodophore, what do you mean by iodophore? It is a compound of iodine that is complexed with an organic molecule. So, it increases the iodine stability and also in turn its efficacy. One common iodophore is povidone iodine, and that I have already mentioned, and it acts as a wetting agent that releases iodine relatively slowly because these are iodine releasing agents. That's why they are releasing iodine slowly. Example for this povidone iodine is betadine. Betadine, it's a brand of povidone iodine which is commonly used as a hand scrub by medical personnel before surgery and for the topical antisepsis of the patient's skin before incision. Before we are taking a patient to the operation theatre, we are already disinfecting the patient's body with this povidone iodine. Then, these iodophores are complexes of iodine that I already mentioned and a solubilizing agent or carrier, and it acts as a reservoir of active free iodine. Although germicidal activity is maintained, they are considered less active against fungi and spores than are tinctures. Tinctures means either an alcoholic solution that already I have mentioned earlier. So they have less germicidal activity compared to tinctures. The antimicrobial action of iodine, it is rapid even though at low concentration, but the exact mode of action is unknown. According to this studies, we know that iodine rapidly penetrates into the microorganism and attack the key groups of the protein, especially sulfur containing free sulfur amino acids such as cysteine and methionine within the bacteria, and also nucleotides and fatty acids, and this may cause the cell death in the bacteria. But less is known about the antiviral action of iodine. So this antiviral action of iodine is less known, but non-lipid viruses and parvoviruses, they are less sensitive than lipid enveloped viruses. Similarly to the bacteria, it is likely that iodine attacks the surface protein of enveloped virus, but they may also destabilize membrane fatty acids by reacting with unsaturated carbon atoms. So that are the action of iodophores and iodine compounds. Next is about chlorine. Chlorine, it is another halogen commonly used for disinfection. When the chlorine gas is mixed with water, it produces a strong oxidant and it is called hypochlorous acid, and it is uncharged and they may enter the cells easily. So CRAs, what do you mean by CRAs? Chlorine releasing agents. CRAs at higher concentrations are sporicidal and also they may possess virucidal activity. So the most important types of chlorine releasing agents are sodium hypochlorite, chlorine dioxide, and chloro compounds such as sodium dichloroisocyanurate, then chloramine T. Chlorine gas, it is commonly used especially in the municipal drinking water and also in the wastewater treatment plants. It may result in the release of hypochlorous acid, which has actual antimicrobial effect. Those working at water treatment facilities need to take great care to minimize personal exposure to chlorine gas. So the sodium hypochlorite, it is the chemical component of the common household bleach. Common household bleach is sodium hypochlorite, and it is used for a variety of disinfecting purpose. And in the laboratory or in any other hospitals, sodium hypochlorite is used for disinfecting spillages of blood containing HIV virus or HBV, that is hepatitis B viruses. Then another use of this hypochlorite salts are including sodium and calcium hypochlorites. So they are used for disinfecting swimming pools, especially in the certain pools such as in the water theme park, etc. The swimming pools, etc. are sterilized or disinfected using hypochlorite salts. Then sodium, this sodium hypochlorite is chlorine releasing agent. So they ionizes to produce sodium plus and hypochlorite ion, that is OCl minus, which establishes an equilibrium with hypochlorous acid, that is HOCl. And the action is in between pH 4 and 7. Chlorine exists predominantly as HClO, that is the active moiety. Above the pH 9, OCl predominates. Okay. Then sodium hypochlorite and calcium hypochlorite, they are also used in disinfectants in food processing and restaurant industries to reduce the spread of foodborne diseases. The workers in these industries also need to take care to use these products correctly to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of the consumers. Next, chlorine releasing agents are chloramines. Another class of chlorinated compounds are called chloramines. They are widely used as disinfectants. And these chloramines are relatively stable, releasing chlorine over a long period of time. Chloramines are derivatives of ammonia by substitution of 1, 2 or all 3 hydrogen atoms with chlorine atoms. Ammonia has, so there is a picture that of the chloramine and ammonia. So these are the derivatives of ammonia. Chloramines are the derivatives of ammonia, but difference is substitution of 1, 2 or all 3 hydrogen atoms with chlorine atom. So the hydrogen atoms present in the ammonia, it is substituted with chlorine atom, that is chloramines. So I will show the picture. I had posted this picture in the last slide. Okay. So the chloramine has nitrogen, 2 hydrogen and 1 chlorine. Monochloramine, it is one of the chloramines derived from ammonia, which is by the replacement of 1 hydrogen atom with a chlorine atom. So I will show the chloramine picture. This is the chloramine and this is the ammonia, in which this hydrogen atom is replaced with chlorine. This is the picture of chloramine. Now, what is the important use in chloramine in the disinfecting action? Chloramines and other chlorine, I think one spelling mistake, sorry. Chloramines and other chlorine compounds may be used for disinfecting drinking water, and chloramine tablets are frequently used by the military for this purpose. After a natural disaster or other event, I think natural disaster we have seen in the Wayanad in like last year, ഉരുൾപൊട്ടലൊക്കെ സംഭവിച്ചല്ലോ. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ വെള്ളപ്പൊക്കം, മണ്ണൊലിപ്പ്, ഇപ്പൊ വീടുകളിലൊക്കെ മണ്ണും വെള്ളമൊക്കെ കയറി വീടുകൾ മൊത്തം നാശമായിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം. അപ്പൊ ആ സമയത്ത് ഹെൽത്ത് വർക്കേഴ്സ് വീട് ക്ലീൻ ചെയ്യാൻ ആദ്യം യൂസ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നത് ക്ലോറിൻ കോമ്പൗണ്ട്സ് ആയിരുന്നു. That's here mentioned. So after a natural disaster or other events that compromises the public water supply, CDC recommends disinfecting tap water by adding small amounts of regular household bleach. Recent research suggests that sodium dichloroisocyanurate, that is NaDCC, they may also be a good alternative for drinking water disinfection. The next is about telling chlorine dioxide. The chlorine dioxide is another chlorine releasing agent. It is a gaseous agent which is used for the fumigation and sterilization of enclosed areas, which is commonly used for disinfection of water. Although these chlorinated compounds are relatively effective disinfectants, they have their own disadvantages too. Some may irritate the skin, nose, or eyes of some individuals. They may not completely eliminate certain hardy organisms from contaminated drinking water. Another disadvantage, the fungus Cryptosporidium, that is Cryptosporidium parvum, for example, they have a protective outer shell that make it resistant to chlorinated disinfectants. So, this Cryptosporidium species are resistant to chlorinated disinfectants. Thus, the boiling of drinking water in emergency situation is recommended when possible. So, in emergency situation, the drinking water could be boiled instead of disinfecting. So, these are all about chlorine compounds. So, this is the picture of chloramine. Next disinfectant included in the halogens is fluorine. The halogen fluorine, it is also known to have antimicrobial properties that contribute to the prevention of dental caries or cavities. So the fluoride, it is the main active ingredient of the toothpaste and is also commonly added to the tap water to help communities maintaining oral health. Chemically, this fluoride can become incorporated into hydroxyapatite of the tooth enamel, making it more resistant to corrosive acids produced by the fermentation of oral microbes. And this fluoride enhances the uptake of calcium and phosphate ions in tooth enamel and promoting remineralization also. In addition to strengthening enamel, it seems to be bacteriostatic. It stops the growth of bacteria. It accumulates in plaque-forming bacteria and interfere with their metabolism, reducing the production of acids that contribute to the tooth decay. So it is helpful to prevent the tooth decay by accumulating on the plaque-forming bacteria. So these are all about halogens.